It's just Dad of the Year every time we play.
Princess!
I'm just collecting dads is my thing, apparently.
And I love enforcing them upon you. It's great. Foisting them upon you is what I mean.
Hey, man.
Yeah, so was that it?
Okay, we ready, friends?
Yeah!
Dive back in once more.
Getting
Yeah,
toasty,
man,
roasty,
yeah.
toasty.
So,
Alright, guys.
stepping up the gold wrought little footsteps to the carriage and entering inside it. It's sort of like the tent from Harry Potter. That's like
Sure, yeah.
it's a tent. I mean, it's big, but you step inside it, and it's like there are like multiple tiers of sort of bunk beds that go up one wall. And there's like a corner. There's like a breakfast nook corner with a little table and some shelving.
Yes. Yeah, me, I'm like, yes, this is the exact aesthetic. And Seren's like, ugh, I hate when people have belongings.
There's a lounge area with some like nice plush couches and plumpy pillows. It doesn't seem like a bad way to travel.
Yeah.
Basically, is what I'm trying to say. So yes, you all make your way inside. Angiers bringing up the rear, and he says, "Well, make yourselves comfortable, and we'll be on our way."
Make yourselves comfortable.
He's not a king.
Rest in peace, Pennsylvania Renaissance.
It's also not an actual historical way of pronouncing that. It's just a thing that the fair does. Anyway,
That's fine.
I find the least comfortable looking chair and sit in it.
so many things I was
Okay.
Is there
yes.
just like a stool with no cushion on it or something?
They all look pretty luxurious.
God damn.
Maybe.
Would you enjoy yourself for once, Seren, please?
Are you asking me?
It's Christmas.
I've already cushioned the armchair.
Go to sit down. Ha
I would just like
Are
to
you-
see you. I would just like to see you enjoy yourself. That's all.
Now I find the
I
most
care
comfortable
about
looking chair and put myself in it.
you.
Because Surrie yelled at me.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to yell. I'm sorry.
No, it's
Come
your
on,
right.
along.
You're
Guilt is a
right.
powerful motivator.
You have a seat down on one of the. It looks sort of. It's like a love seat. Very comfortable. And Dimitri kind of climbs out, starts to try to bury himself in the cushions.
Yeah, do whatever you want, buddy.
Or do we? Should we call him something other than Dimitri? What should we
just-
call the boy?
I just haven't named him anything.
We'll call him the boy from now on.
The child.
The child.
The child.
We'll call him the child.
And here we are.
And you're a horse.
And then I look at Surrie.
Well,
Is this better?
it's better. Yes.
Alcyone, on the other hand,
Oh, I
finds
do
a
like
love
that
seat.
smile on you.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Alcyone, on the other hand, finds a love seat and just lays upon it, throws her legs over the side, arranging her skirts just so, but throws her legs over the other end of it, entirely keeping it to herself.
Skyrim Jarl sit. Does Alcyone have an undercut?
No. She has.
Does she cuff her jeans?
There we go.
No, she has sort of like
The bisexual
kept
bob?
short. It's like a bob, but like she has long.
It's the bisexual bob.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's-
Like
I mean-
Ramona Flowers, but better.
Yeah, okay.
Because that wig was confusing.
I mean, just
Yes.
look at the way she's sitting. She's a bisexual.
Yeah. If a Skyrim Jarl was in a love seat,
Yeah.
that's what she's doing.
They don't
Right
sit
So
like
I sit on this thing
that
daily.
now. Precisely. Or like me when I put my leg all the way
My
to
feet
the top.
up on it. Yeah.
You know, sometimes
Um,
it's not relevant to their character, but I always add it in anyway. Because why not?
Never
Yeah.
made a straight character.
No,
I
me
pepper in
either.
the fact that I'm bisexual, as that is a given.
Yeah, alright. I sit awkwardly.
What are you calling him?
I don't know yet. I am very aware that two other people are hearing us have this conversation.
All right, we can talk about it later then.
It feels weird to call
Tell her
him.
there's more than 2 people in the carriage right now.
The guy hasn't gotten in yet, Alcyone. Look at him, he's puffing.
Hyrus is also here.
And Kashek,
It just feels.
thank you for announcing your presence.
Sitting in a chair. Knock, knock.
No, he's up on top.
Oh, I see.
Oh, never
yeah.
mind. I lied. Kashek isn't here. I
It
forgot.
just feels weird to call him something that he might not want to be called anymore. That's not my decision to make.
You can hardly ask him though.
At which point he has managed to squeeze himself into the nook between the back of the love seat and the cushions and turned himself around, so now just his little head is poking out
Oh,
from
yeah!
between the seats.
My goodness, he is so cute.
Just
I
an avenue
know.
for you
I
to
was
do
trying to
animal
tell
shit.
everyone.
Yeah, and I'm loving it!
I said this so many times before.
The owlbears are cute. I know, but look, it's so little. Oh, he's so little. I love
I
it.
know, he's very little.
Oh my god.
DM's inserting cute animals into their campaign. Unlimited.
I don't mean to always end up with the animal, but I always end up
You
with
do.
the animal.
Also, you're welcome for Dork never going up to the Chancellor and being like, so would you say that you are the Senate?
Fantastic.
I just don't know if I can. That's not my choice to make.
Alright, well, you can come later. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Pat Seren on the head and I'll go sit somewhere. But not far away.
Great. So yeah, at which point Angiers ambles into the carriage and sort of pulls a little rope next to the door on the inside, which raises the stepladder and closes the door. Turning to you all, and says, "Yes, not a bad way to travel, wouldn't you agree?"
It's pretty spectacular, if I must say so.
Ah, you're too kind, you're too kind. Well, as I said, we'll be roughing it a little bit for part of the journey.
Yes, definitely.
Once we're back into civilizations, we shall find a nice cozy inn to stay at for the remainder of our journey, yes?
Sure. Splendid.
Fantastic. Well, make yourselves comfortable. Can I get anyone anything? Tea? Coffee?
I'll take a tea. I will also take a tea if that is amenable.
Ah, but of course. And from a door on what is the sort of front side of the carriage from the inside opens up, and it looks like there's almost a tiny little kitchenette in a little chamber beyond this main room, and a finely dressed person, towel over their arm and a tray of with a hot kettle on it comes out. And as the carriage lurches a little as the horses begin to move, he expertly sort of like does a little swerve move, keeping it level, and comes over and pours both of you a cup. Anyone else?
Oh.
What
Alright, thank you.
what kind is it?
Well, we have multiple varieties. I believe what Chauncey is serving now is a fine green leaf tea, but we have an excellent jasmine imported from far away, a wonderful chamomile from far away Orlais. Really, whatever your heart contends.
Did you say jasmine? Yes. Whatever they just. Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Chauncey, please don't just bring the lot, would you? Yeah, that's a good lad. And he sort of bows and heads back to the kitchenette to get a larger tray.
Thank you, Chauncey.
Thank you,
for your-
Chauncey.
Yes, after a moment he returns with several kettles on a much larger tray.
I love imagining what the scene looks like, which is that Kashek is up top eating like hard travel tack, and then inside is just the fucking hot chocolate scene from Polar Express. There's tap dancing and shit, and he's like, what a curious carriage.
It is pretty amazing in here. I mean, all the furniture is really intricately carved. The velour sort of cushions aside, the handholds and the backs are all really intricately carved. The walls of the inside of the carriage are like sort of tapestried with scenes depicting heroes and battles and animals and nature and just all sorts. The inside of the carriage looks sort of like the inside of an art museum.
At risk of outing myself as an even bigger dweeb than everyone already knows I am, is it bigger on the inside?
No, not really, but
Okay.
it is. Your mind kind of boggles as to how you could fit so much inside of it. Yeah, it's not magic. It's just really expertly designed.
Nice. I just say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Howard's not standing. Both have their tea. Howard's just sitting like just on a chair by himself, taking up an appropriate amount of space. While Asani's draped herself over an entire couch.
And so you make your way. The carriage
Hell
starts off.
yeah! Sound effects and tunes.
And so the carriage sets off. As you all, maybe perhaps leaning out the window and watching Barovia disappear behind you, many of you have been outside the valley thus far in your yearly adventure. So you three would all know then that for a notable amount of miles directly outside the city, it is relatively roughing it. There's like the suggestion of roads that used to be, but have been deeply overgrown.
Like hundreds of years ago, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like several centuries of growth over what used to be a well-traveled thoroughfare. But at least directly leaving the valley, it is kind of hoofing, and it is very slow going with the cart. The massive carriage, as it were. You definitely know you could travel much faster if you were just going by horseback, but It's not really that's not really the Chancellor's style.
No, indeed.
You pass maybe 3 days in this sort of fashion. The Chancellor, at every opportunity, chatting your ear off about the histories of the fair city, how important he is to it, and really anything that you could want to hear of. Is there anything anyone would like to ask as we are journeying? Because he's, as you have gathered, perfectly willing to talk your ear off.
At some point, I lean over to Surrie when it seems like no one will hear us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need me to gently find out if people we would maybe not like to run into will be around?
You can if you like.
Who do I ask about? Lord, Lady,
Aracellus.
Aracellus? Excuse me, Chancellor...
Oh, please, please,
Angiers.
Seren, call me Angiers. Everyone does.
Angiers. Aracellus? Just out of curiosity, will either Lord or Lady Aracellus be joining us at this dinner?
Aracellus, yeah. Oh, yes, but of course, of Aracellus shipping.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Goodness gracious me, I haven't heard from them in a dog's age. Goodness, it's been many years. I used to visit their estate quite regularly before I became Chancellor. The patron of the Aracellus family sponsored me quite generously, as you understand, through a capital party. Wonderful family. Truly will stick your neck out for you sort of types, you understand. Yeah.
I'm aware.
This is Robin's face, not hers.
Surrey's just sitting there with her eye twitching.
Yeah, they're great!
But, goodness gracious me, do you know, I haven't talked to either of them in a number of years. I don't know quite what's happened to them. I haven't seen them around Gorton at least as long.
Only curiosity. Thank you.
What is your interest with the Aracellus family? Thinking of getting into the shipping trade, are you?
No. I
was
we
talking with
just-
them about the court members I'd seen my last time at court, if that's...
Oh, yes. Well, the members of court do have a bit of a weakness for the fine arts, if I do say so myself.
Certainly they do.
Brings them to their very knees, as you understand.
I have seen it myself.
That's quite. Yeah. Yes. Well, yes, as I said, I'm kind of afraid I haven't heard from them in a number of years. So if you're hoping to run into them at court, I am afraid to say you may very well miss them.
Well, we must get used to life's disappointments.
Ah, yes, capital. An important part of growing into adulthood, yes.
How old does this guy look?
40s? Probably late 40s.
Yeah. I'm 181 years old.
Go! Capital, yes. You are quite long-lived, your kind, are you not? Ah, I'm tremendously jealous. Oh, God, think of all I could accomplish if I lived a century. Oh, I do relish the thought, but we humans are cursed with briefness. But I think, it gives us a rather a certain drive to accomplish all we can in our short time on the earth, no?
I'm petting Dimitri really affectionately.
The
Oh,
Republic
damn it, no, we're not
calling
calling
him
that. Shit.
The state of the Republic certainly bears that out.
Yes, certainly. Glorious and wealthy as it is. Yes.
Burning bright, as it were.
Ever so, praise be to Lady Miranda. She did establish the finest kingdom the world has ever known. Yes,
Can't argue there.
quite. Can I get you anything else?
Actually, I think I'm gonna pop up and see if Kashek needs anything by your leave.
But of course, it's the chap on the roof, yes?
Yes.
quite curious way to travel, but who am I to judge a hero's lifestyle?
Enigmatic types, of course, you understand.
Ah, but of course, who am I to question one's choices?
Can I climb out the window?
As he's saying that.
Yep. Anyway.
Well, I've had enough of
Yeah, I mean,
conversation.
pretty much whenever you can imagine anytime an interaction with this guy comes to an end, you can just kind of picture his voice trailing off as you leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Give me a
Yeah.
acrobatics check.
First roll.
Yeah!
Can't
And
wait
it's to
see
get on the
face
roof.
plant.
Whoa!
Literally climbing out the window to escape Angiers.
An acrobatics check?
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, plenty. Nimbly you sort of dart your way out the window, and there's plenty of robust ornamentation along the outside of the carriage, which you find helpful handholds as you make your way to the top.
I don't mean to interrupt. Thank you.
He's just staring at you.
Yeah, he's welcome to. I don't say anything. Just like,
Just a moment of quiet.
Mhm.
Sure. Yeah.
I catch Alcyone's eye and just.
I don't try to answer back.
I look as though I'm sort of running a hand over the mouth, and I message to you. That is more than exactly what I'm here for.
Excellent. That's
Just not.
fantastic. Yes, so Angier's doldrums continue. So after another couple of days, things are starting to level out a little bit more. At least the coverage of the trees is beginning to fall away. As we open up, let's get a map here.
Yeah, map.
A map?
I'm looking at it.
Did you guys look at the map of the city that I sent?
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So it takes a couple of days to travel a pretty short amount of distance, just based on what you're traveling in. So after 3 days,
Excuse me.
you have made it to about here. And the semblances of a road are becoming more and more distinct. However, after the first 3 days, you feel a sudden jostle and rustle as the carriage seems to make its course off of the road, as it were. Angiers, who is snoozing heavily behind his bed is the one at the very bottom tier, and it has this nice silk curtain which closes to conceal behind it. But you hear sort of a goodness as the carriage lurches, and he throws curtain open. Thank you.
Yeah.
And says, "Oh, yes, but of course, merely a precaution. You understand. We must be passing by Oldgard. It's an old folk tale, a haunted castle of oppressors past. Of course, I don't believe in such things, but yeah, better to be cautious than not. Wouldn't you agree?"
An excellent mind for stories.
Oh yes, I would much agree. As I understand, the denizens of the City of Bones turned and ate each other. Quite an exciting story, if you could turn it into one.
I've heard more than a tale or two about it, to be sure.
I would imagine you were. You must tell me. Tell me a bit about what it was like traveling with the canny merchants. They seemed a raucous and fun bunch, no?
Oh yes, as interested as we were, of course, in performing and telling our stories, collecting new ones was even more exciting and more the goal, to be entirely honest. No bit of lore, no old wives' tale too small for their kind.
I do love that. Yeah, the classics are classics for a reason, of course. But every once in a while, some new fresh blood must be injected into the zeitgeist. Yes?
I couldn't agree more.
May I trouble you for perhaps a tale or recitation as we go?
I think that more than you've been so accommodating for us, a small repayment would do just fine.
Oh, delightful! Yeah, quite.
Perhaps some of the verses of the Watch of Caradrin might do just fine. Do you think?
Oh, I've been to Caradrin many times, but never heard the story. Oh, please, yes. And he sort of sits with the energy of an excited little first grade boy up on his bed and sort of excitedly waits to hear.
Caradrin, that's the dwarf settlement?
Yes, indeed.
Were we ever there? You don't remember, we were doing too many daiquiris on the beach.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Sorry, I had to write something down.
Adrastos does love his daiquiris.
Yeah.
It was Adrastus'
does he?
fault.
He does that.
Never mind.
Yes,
your
and I
brother.
will go into a
I'm worried about
small epic poem about the heroic watch of the dwarves against what dwells beneath the mountains of the tooth.
Yeah, excellent.
If that is admissible to you in your world.
Yeah, no, absolutely. More than you know.
There was lore?
Fantastic. Great. Give me a performance check, please.
Oh, by all means.
At advantage. Because he's so excited.
The big and the little.
Yes!
Yeah.
I fucking love this shit. All right. Wow, a 6 and a 5.
Ooh.
But fortunately,
You didn't play hard.
he does. Brings us to a healthy 15.
Fantastic. It couldn't possibly matter how well or poorly you performed. Angiers is titillated and so excited at the climax of your tale, and as it sort of comes down to a successful finish, he jumps up from his seat, dancing back and forth from foot to foot, clapping, so excited, like, oh, wonderful, a true talent, if any of the world has ever seen one.
Too kind, you are to give a nice sweeping bow. The hat stays, the horns keep it on the head.
Yeah!
You should consider, after the feast is done, staying at court, for new musicians are always highly prized and sought.
Generous of you to say so. Perhaps if opportunities present themselves. I'm, of course, a woman of business at times.
But of course, yes, of course. All too often, the uneducated ask the artist to produce his work for free, when in actuality, it is a gift wrought from stone as the architect creates the home.
A true patron of the arts, you are indeed, then, my
Well,
lord.
I fancy myself quite, yes.
Ow.
That's us.
Fantastic. Well, now that we're passing Old God, I believe our pace should quicken just a bit.
Wonderful.
Which, in fact, it does, yeah.
Smush Dimitri a little bit. I smushed the baby out the window a little bit so he can see what's going on.
Yeah, as you hold him out the window, he's just like a dog with his head out the window of a car. He just lets his little tongue loll out and
Yeah.
whips his head back and forth, trying to take in everything.
Because he can't move his eyes in his head, so a lot of head whipping.
Yeah, it's a lot of head whipping.
I don't like that you said in this head.
In his
In
head.
his head.
Oh, I thought you said in this particular head that he has now.
Well, as opposed to his previous one, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I can say that too.
Both of them,
I
in
can
fact.
say that.
Yeah,
too.
you're right.
Hyros, for a point of order, is periodically having to stick his head out the window a little bit, but mostly just for fresh air.
Okay, no.
He gets,
No, he
The
gets
little car sick.
he gets
The old car sick.
There's a bit of me in every character.
So you guys want to know something really great about Ian?
Fantastic. He's car sick. I love it.
Yep.
No.
Well, he's-
Babe.
I honestly don't think he's probably ever traveled in a carriage before.
Aw.
That wouldn't surprise me.
So,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
might be the first time.
Absolutely. Oh, that's great. I love that.
Aw, Papa.
Fantastic.
Occasionally, Asani will go rub her dad's back a little bit.
Aww.
Hyros also has to sit in the front seat.
Yeah, it's rough.
I get it, boy. I've been there. So, after going a bit of the ways off the road to pass Old Guard, the pace does seem to quicken. The suggestion of a road becomes more of an implication of a road, or maybe reversed. You know what I mean? It's more of a road.
Yeah. Just a query. We would have seen this passing by on the way to Barovia for those of us who come back. What does Old Guard look like at a distance to us?
Yes. So it seems ever presently surrounded by a layer of fog. So
Familiar with that?
Yeah.
sure, which yep, you're very familiar with.
Suspicious.
So really what it looks like is it from a distance, emerging up from the fog are just these like bone white spires. It almost looks like a rib cage, sort of just protruding up out of the fogs, but they're the spires of some ancient, long gone fortification.
Are they straight?
Yeah, it's like the towers of a fortress or something like that coming out of the fog.
That's the City of Bones. Allegedly entirely populated by skeletons.
Just rub him behind the warp.
I bet you like to crack open a
And actually, yeah, and as you talk about like these necrotic entities, his hackles raise a little bit, and he goes like he's ready to fight.
Yeah. You now have a child.
Oh god damn it.
I do.
It's alright, Grogu. Just you can have it. You can have
His
it.
name's Gulp Shitto.
Yeah,
So
you're
glad you took him. I wasn't sure what you were gonna do.
You should name this one Cardamom.
Took him. Okay. Anyway. So, anything else?
I'm good for now.
Fantastic. So yes. So you've been spending days and nights just kind of. At this point, I imagine the carriage, as luxurious as it is getting a little cramped. Luckily, at the end of the first week, your pace is much more improved, and you begin to see signs of civilization coming back into focus again. So yes, you begin to see what looks like, at this point, still small, but definitely villages kind of dot the landscape. Perhaps a roadside, maybe like a pie stand, tires fixed also, as you go along.
Oh, what? No!
That was a dream pastry.
Not dream pastries.
Alright.
I can make you like a meat pie if you.
I don't like things that have sugar in them.
I'll make you
A meat pie does not have sugar in it.
I don't know
I'm
these
sorry,
things!
I'm sorry.
Just so you can maybe.
Do we have to check? Do we have to go make sure?
That
They
a
might be
that
children,
a
we
meat
just
pie doesn't
don't
have-
know these things.
If it comes from Hyros, I think it's gonna be alright.
Alright.
I love children.
Yes.
I have several.
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Remember when you were relaxing and enjoying yourself?
Yeah, it
Can
was
you do
nice.
it again?
I don't know if I
For
can do
me?
it on purpose.
Alright.
I'll
We'll work
try,
on
I'll
it.
try.
We'll work on it.
And I just like deeply meditate.
There you go.
Terrific. So a few more days pass, and we'll say, at this point, if it's like a 2-week journey total, so we'll say 9 days into the trip, you are certainly back within the Republic.
Okay.
Civilization abounds now. And in fact, on the eve of the 9th day, Algiers stands and says, "My friends, I have some exciting news. As comfortable and luxurious as the carriage is, it does grow a bit cramped after a certain amount of time." So, tonight, and I believe for the rest of our journey, we shall be making nightly stops at an inn. The first up on our list is a very old, good one, a personal favorite of mine, the Sleeping Dragon. Your accommodations shall all be covered by the capital. No, never you mind. But I would love to sit you all down for a lovely dinner tonight. What do you say?
That sounds
Yes.
spectacular.
Thank you.
Iris, are you doing alright?
You will see his light blue looks a bit lighter.
No.
paler.
Oh, babe.
Oh, baby.
A little green.
I have an herbalism kit. You know what? If at any point we like stopped to like rest the horses or something, I went out and looked for some like peppermint or something, or like ginger root.
You want to brew him a poultice for his upset tummy?
I have absolutely no proficiency in any of those things. I can just identify what the herbs are.
Give
So-
it a shot if you want.
Yeah,
Make
I'll
him
go
some
do that.
ginger
It's
ale.
tea, not potion, you know.
Yeah,
that's
I'll go do
something.
that.
Yeah, just a nice calming tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so give me a wisdom check plus proficiency. No, not proficiency, because you are not proficient.
Well, I'm proficient with the herbalism kit.
Oh, yeah, then go for it.
Wisdom check
With proficiency.
with proficiency. Well, 4 plus 4 plus 3 is 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
So perhaps one of the evenings when you stop for the night to rest the horses and to sleep, you go out and you find some herbs amongst the woods, and you come back and you do your best to make a little brew, which Hyros takes gladly. It helps a little. There's still like you feel like your stomach is just upset rather than that you're going to actively vomit at any given moment.
This looks like what used to grow in the monastery, and we used to use it when there was an illness. I might help you. I'm sorry.
I am eternally grateful to you, Seren. I must confess that tea making is not one of my expertises, so...
What?
but
Expertise.
the word tea
Tea! I get
is
it!
in the...
I get it.
Maybe
Uh,
a
Oh, sorry.
tiefling thing.
Ha!
Alright, well, let's not go overboard.
I am very grateful to you.
Be well.
I will be. I think when we've reached the
sleeping dragon.
River Nina?
Yes, where it joins with the river Ilvis.
I think there is I will the quickest way for me to make passage back home. So likely not much more of me being aboard this carriage, which I think would be a blessing for you all and me as well. Not that I
guess.
dislike the company, of course, but you will be well kept in Alcyone's hands. She is far more capable a force than I am, and less likely to vomit upon you.
Great.
And I'm afraid I would be utterly useless in a court, much as they find heroes interesting.
Great then.
I think you're very charming, Iris.
I couldn't say quite where Alcyone gets it, but perhaps the sprig of it came from me. Who's to say? Sapling, seedling, I don't know.
You got there.
I chop them. I don't plant.
I understand. No, I got you.
You understand.
I understand, of course.
Let's say then that we come upon the sleeping dragon at the conjunction of the three sisters and the river Ilvis, and that is where the sleeping dragon inn lies. So the carriage comes blissfully at last to a halt outside the inn. The doors open, the stairs extend, and all of you step out to find it's pleasantly buzzing. There is a decent amount of thoroughfare, people coming and going. It seems to be a well-traveled route. And the inn is a lovely wooden building with golden light pouring out of its windows. There's a sort of second-tier balcony above which is a finely carved, as if out of a whole trunk of a tree, a dozing dragon above the balcony on the second tier. Well, please, let's make our way inside. I shall sort out our accommodations. Please feel free to make your way to the bar and order whatever you please. It's all on the house, as it were.
Thank you.
Eternally grateful for your generosity, and that of the crown, of course.
Well, I must repay the wonderful musing somehow, mustn't I?
Graciously will I accept.
Did you make your way into the inn?
I flutter down.
Oh, yeah. I do forget about you up there sometimes.
Hyros is going to sort of shakily hand on the carriage to make his way around.
Oh, poor baby.
Oh, buddy.
No, I will be. This will be good for us all.
You're visibly ill, right?
He's just sort of...
Pukey.
No, he's not. Again, he hasn't thrown up, but like to the point of nauseous where like your legs are
around the
shaky
hills.
when you get down. You're like, oh, okay.
But you're not like striding along. You're kind of like taking it easy. Like,
He's taking not moving at full pace for sure.
Kashek's just gonna walk over and place his hand on your head and cast Lesser Restoration, but like almost as if he's like opening a door. Like it's just a very tedious. Like he's not even thinking about it.
Good. Yes. I feel better already. Thank you, my friend. Quite right.
I hate you.
I fucking
After
love this
you,
guy.
I suppose.
No, I love this dude, but I hate you.
I
Are
fucking love
we
you.
going in here?
I believe it is for drinks and meal and sleep
And
in here.
sleep, yes.
A change of pace.
Well, then I will go collect drink and meal and be back then.
Oh, I'm coming with you.
Oh, yeah.
We're eating inside.
I'll be back then.
Very well.
He takes off into the nearest
Good
forest.
luck, alright.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah.
I love this guy.
There's a little bit of a clearing here and alongside the road, but immediately behind the inn is the forest, so dive in.
Okay.
I would like to catch a possum.
Great.
Or whatever woodland creature would be available.
Yeah, whatever you can find.
Yeah.
Some small furry thing. Give me a survival check.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Heck yak.
14.
Yeah.
So you silently, on your owlish wings, float between the boughs of the forest behind the inn. And after only about 15-20 minutes, you spot some sort of nocturnal creature, a possum, getting ready to just waking up, getting ready for its nightly festivities, still drowsy. Yeah, so it's just sort of like waking up from its den to go about feeding for the night. A perfect target. You swoop down upon it, roll to hit.
Okay. 16.
What are you using? Are you using a weapon or just like your sort of natural talents?
If I'm swooping, I would be using my talons.
Okay. What is?
Do I need to do damage or
Well, what's the hit?
16?
Easy. Go for damage.
Do I add strength to this then?
For talons, yeah.
Yes.
4.
4. It is merciful and swift. You land perfectly upon your prey, snapping its neck. It feels no pain. And you have yourself a possum.
I carry it back to the tavern.
Fantastic.
How long does that take?
Probably 20 minutes total.
Were you saying something?
No, I'm thinking back to all the times I've seen you actually be car sick and feeling really bad for Hyros.
It's unfortunate. Ailment.
Well, now Seren has to be horribly lactose intolerant.
No, she's already an emo bitch, so
Well, yeah, that's a given.
that's your personality in it.
Saren's like, all right, let's set out. And Dork's like, Seren, your coffee, you haven't touched it.
It's getting cold.
I forgot about it, all right.
So as Kashek takes off to fly through the forest, leaving the rest of you standing there, Angiers says, "Ha! Well, shall we?"
Yes.
Hyros, are you staying the night with us here then?
Oh, certainly. I would not miss it. Perhaps if there is no one performing, perhaps Alcyone and I could provide something for the evening.
That'd be
But
lovely.
if there is, I do not want to step on any toes. As he walks in, Alcyone passes by. I don't mind a few crushed toes here and there.
Fantastic. Great. So the rest of you enter the tavern. It is crowded and comfortable. A roaring fire off to the side. All the tables seem full of busy travelers. The Arcadians, as you notice, look much more like the Kreskins than the Barovians. Sort of that chestnut-colored skin.
Yeah.
Many of them have white hair. But yeah, just sort of that Mediterranean-y, kind of almondy skin tone.
Old, or is that an aesthetic choice?
What do you mean, the hair?
Their hair is white?
Yeah, some of them just... it's the... If you'll recall, the Vulcan and his wife both had white hair. Even though they were probably a little too young for it.
Yeah, okay.
I undo my hood and feel a little safer.
Yeah, no one takes notice.
Like a sun bleaching thing, perhaps, just due to
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Definitely. But yes, many people mill about. There's currently no music, but it is hopping. There's some people dicing in the corner. Many people enjoying some fine food and drink. What would you like to do?
I rather think I need some ballast in me, so shall flag down whoever is heading that up.
Alcyone,
Sure.
you're more versed in this sort of thing than I am. These people are paying for our food and accommodations.
That seems to be heavily indicated by
Yes.
Angiers there.
And as you all enter, Angiers immediately
Angiers.
makes his way to the sort of bar.
Do you think there's any expectation of trade of services for that compensation?
Typically, no. We are, of course, being regarded, or at least you are, as heroes and such of a very important nature. And if you are going all the way to court, well, it makes sense we want to keep you in good spirits the entire way there. I would take it with an open hand, but keep an eye, perhaps, around. A healthy dose of suspicion never goes too far, believe you me.
Thank you.
But again, never looked a gift horse too hard in the mouth.
Let me know when I get back.
I will, yeah, thank you. And as you're standing there in the doorway talking, a sort of flaxen-haired barmaid comes over and says, "All right, just have a seat wherever you can find one. I'll be over in a minute."
Thank you kindly.
Alright.
Yeah, and there seems to be one sort of in a far-flung corner that is unoccupied at the mo.
I will go there.
Perfect. We
down.
love corner tables, don't we?
We do?
That is where the adventurers seem to sit.
None can sneak up upon you that way.
Tactical.
Unless they were already under the table.
I
In
check
that
under
case,
the
they've
table.
already bested us.
You're right.
And they deserve the win. They've made the effort.
So you take your seats, and after a moment, the same maid comes back and says, "Right, welcome to the Sleeping Dragon. What can I get for you all?"
What's the strongest ale you've got?
Well, that'd be the Dragon's Breath, wouldn't it?
At least one of those, the rest of you?
I will take one as well.
Sure.
Yes.
And
Free
tea
dragon
for my
breath.
father, if you would, please.
Yeah. Happy to. Oh, you look a little green behind the gills there, my friend.
It is the blue skin.
It is.
You're restored.
Yeah, no, he's just
No.
like still like a little shaky
Yeah,
though, because
yeah.
after you feel better, you're
I
like,
know exactly the feeling you're
Yes.
talking about. I hate that feeling. I'm like, I should be better now.
That one I love actually because I'm
No.
not actively nauseous. I'm just like still shaky,
No.
but we're fine. We're
Mm,
actually
stop.
fine.
No.
Well, as I understand, your food is taken care of as well. Are we eating or just imbibing?
We are
Let's
eating.
eat. Yeah.
Well, we just got wild boar in this afternoon. If I can interest you in that, or something a little more thoroughfare, if you want.
Boar will do nicely for me, if you would please, and I think the rest of us as much, yes.
Absolutely.
Unless we have any who don't partake of flesh.
Do I look like a vegan?
What?
I have no idea.
Shake.
Right then, three servings of the wild boar and 3 dragon's breaths. Taking advantage of your friend's generosity. I like it.
4?
4 if
Four.
that's all right.
Oh, are you meeting someone else?
My father here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Difficult that I'm one person.
We're getting it. We're working it out.
We're
Yes.
almost there. We're almost there.
4 dragon's breaths
This is
and
golden,
4
this is
servings of
golden.
boar. Taking advantage of your patron's generosity. I like it.
Absolutely.
Now, the way he's dressed, I'm sure he can handle it.
Yes, and she
Make
does.
sure he tips you well.
Well, I got my own methods for that, you understand. And she turns to go. And then a few minutes later, she comes back with piping hot plates of wild boar, which after the long months in Barovia must smell like an absolute dream. And a couple of mugs of some fizzing, bubbly ale. At which point, after the food has arrived, that's probably when around you get back, my friend Kashek.
So you just see Kashek walk in through the front door holding the possum by its tail and espies you
Gods
immediately
above.
and just walks over and puts it down in front of it and sits.
We are going to have the best time together.
Kashek, I meant to catch you before you left. If you wouldn't mind, if you feel like going on any other grocery shopping trips, I'm not sure the little one should be partaking of everything that I partake of. If you wouldn't mind picking up a few extras, I'd be happy to compensate you or something.
Oh, there's more than enough possum for both.
Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, and the baby, it seems a little overstimulated
it's
right
like-
now with everything, all the smells and sights. He's sort of like burrowed himself into your clothing.
Yeah.
He seems a little spooked.
But the smell
At
of
the
dead
moment.
possum.
But at the smell of of roasted wild boar and perhaps some possum, he's sort of surreptitiously sort of poking his nose out again.
I wait for him to tear into the possum. It's his possum, but if there's any boar in front of me, I give him a little piece.
Oh, he gobbles at it hungrily.
If that's boar, it's not wolf. You'll be very happy to know.
Yeah, he sort of throws it back as owls do and gives the owlbear equivalent of smacking his lips. And it's finally seasoned, and so maybe he gives a little.
No! No, he doesn't.
Oh, if that's too much for him, I can lessen that a bit.
No, it's fine. He's never had it before.
Is the baby sick as well?
You know, they don't really have seasoning on food in Barovia.
You want any pepper for that? Some salted possum?
Oh my god!
To be clear, though, he does not swallow it whole, much as the child is doing. He just eats it like a humanoid would. Since I'm not an owl, I'm an aarakocra.
Sure.
That being said,
There's nothing weird about that to me.
bit of a
It's a
mess.
bit messier.
Sure.
Blood.
Yeah, and in fact, your server comes over at one point and says, can I get you a plate or a napkin or...
These treasures.
I'll wave a hand
Sometimes yes.
and prestidigitate the blood off the table and clean it up a bit.
Fantastic.
I can't
I'll
do
take
this.
care of it.
I
Wouldn't be the first time I wiped blood off of one of the tables, but I do appreciate the gesture.
Ding.
Perhaps for a gentler reason this time, though.
Yes, one would hope.
I can't believe I'm the one giving this explanation, but most folk prefer if you are going to eat, you eat off a plate.
What is a plate?
These round things in front of us. I don't really understand why. It's like a barrier between whatever you're eating and the table. No, don't eat. No, it doesn't.
He puts it on top of the possum.
Yep.
No, other way around.
He flips it on top. He, puts it,
Possum on top.
he keeps it face down and then puts the possum on top.
There you
Yes.
go.
Slides.
I don't understand why either.
Hyros is beaming at you.
No, stop.
Look at you.
I'm just feeding my little one.
You have learned so much.
Well,
Yeah, you know what plates do.
it's hard not to pick some things up when one has very good teachers.
Oh, you are the astutest of students one could ever ask for. Is that a wordplay? Alcyone, is that a... That's actually pretty close to wordplay there. Astute
I
student.
put my finger in my ale
Uh-huh.
and I let him lick a little bit of it off.
He's got the croup.
He's teething.
He sniffs it a little bit and then begins to lap at it with his long owl tongue.
It's not champagne de l'estampe, but I don't know.
Yeah, he takes a few licks and clicks his beak a few times.
Oh no.
Yeah, alright, that's what we're getting. That's it.
Great. So after a few minutes enjoying your food, Angiers comes back to the table, carrying his own plate of boar, and sets it down and takes his spot at the table. Well, you are all comfortable. A fine meal in front of you.
Scarcely finer, one would say.
Excellent. Well, tuck in. Noticeably quieter than you've seen him before.
Are you well, Angiers?
Oh, no, I was just happy to be back amongst the civilized world with a nice cut of boar. You know, who wouldn't be happy?
Do I believe him?
Do I believe
Yeah.
him?
Insight check.
Suspicious party.
Oh, okay.
That's cocked. It's
gonna
too
be-
big.
Oh, just kidding. I'm not proficient in insight. I'm not Cleo. 17 though.
17.
Uh,
Alcyone.
16.
Yeah, neither of you trust him, and in fact, both of you pick on just a singular bead of sweat beginning to adventurously make its way down his brow.
Do I see the drop of sweat?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
You are leaking. I beg your pardon.
Sam Regal's in the house tonight.
Oh, well, yes. After carriage, roaring fire. It's quite warm. Yes.
Who else is in this tavern?
Yeah, can I look around?
Anybody like wearing a cloak pulled over their face or like holding a big.
I mean, there's dozens of people in here of all shapes and sizes.
Anybody of pointy ear?
There are a couple elves, yeah, definitely, of the wood and high variety that you notice.
I kind of position myself so that we're not within eyeshot of each other.
You must be more careful with your butter.
Sound advice, Kashak, thank you.
I gently step on his foot under the table.
Ow! Must watch where you put those.
You want someone more oblivious than Dwark? Now you've got one.
Can
You think I can't make dumbass look adorable?
I'm already enamored. You don't have to try.
He is a fucking desert hermit. He does not know decorum.
Yeah, so I'm like,
take a quick glance around and see if there's anything that I could maybe think that might be making him nervous?
Perception check.
you know what's really unfortunate?
Very good at those.
Can I take like
Oh,
a 30
I
second
better
pee
be.
break?
No.
Fuck me.
It's time to try.
Well,
Roll for pee break.
you know, including that one, that'll make it 10.
Not that you can see, there's a lot happening in this tavern, but all of it seems very commonplace. No mysterious or shady figures or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
You do see a few elves. Any other races in particular?
I think I lied. Reliable talent would make that a 19?
If you're proficient, you can't roll below, what,
A 10,
a 10?
right?
So yeah.
Yeah, so 19 actually.
So on a 19, you look for signs that maybe something is making him nervous, observing his demeanor, maybe looking for shifting eye glances, anything like that. Nothing externally seems to be making him nervous, but he seems a little uncomfortable to make eye contact with any of you now.
Okay.
I imagine tieflings are still rare enough in this place. that
Oh,
we are.
yes, I'm sorry, yeah.
That's all right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's it's mostly human.
Sure.
There are a number of elves about as well. But yeah, I mean, you notice some that there's perhaps a table of orcs dicing. You don't see any other tieflings. I think
Yeah.
they're still pretty rare.
Yeah.
especially out this far out into the country. Yeah.
Yeah, we're still in the boonies a little bit. That's
Yeah,
right,
you're definitely in the boonies. Yeah.
Did you say if aarakocra are common at all?
Not at all. Angiers has taken you in stride because Dwarric vouched for you,
Yeah.
but he's not quite sure what to do with you.
Yeah.
You get the sense.
Still not entirely trusting his mood. I'm just gonna continue with the meal, but I've stopped drinking the Dragon's Brew.
Yeah, I'm taking it very slowly on that.
Did any of you try it?
Yes.
It is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very strong. It's sort of like got that cinnamony burn, hence probably why they call it Dragon's Breath. So,
You know, just every once in a while, I'll do an ocular pat down of everyone in the.
did you tell how scared I was?
Oh, Periscope.
So, the table sort of falling silent a little bit, Angiers looks back up from his meal, and it is just beginning to sweat even a little bit more now.
Is he looking any particular direction?
No. And sort of appraising you all in tow, sets his knife and fork down. It sort of folds his hand in his lap. Well, you must all be wondering why it is that the esteemed and distinguished Chancellor of the Senate of the Republic of Arcadia traveled all this way to fetch you.
It's always because you've got some kind of chore for us.
Well, part of it, of course, is the propriety. The Duke or Duchess could not be risked, of course, and it would hardly do to send poor Hector by himself to collect you, would it not?
It is, though, still quite a large honor, to be very certain.
Well, I was happy to accomplish the task. Hearing of you as I had, I was most eager to make your acquaintance, but your insight is unflappable. I have not been entirely honest with you all about our intentions.
Really?
Yes. Much to my shame, I must I cry your pardon and give my sincerest apologies, but these are dangerous times in the Republic, and we must all do what we must. You understand?
Couldn't be clearer. Do please educate us, however.
But of course, you see, bright and shining as the Eternal City is, it is not without its share of troubles in these days. Much less a certain corridor to our old oppressors being opened up to the north of us, which has caused no shortage of distress throughout the kingdom. There are strange occurrences happening throughout. Disease, attacks by raiders from below the ground in Caradrin, all manner of unfortunates. And to top it all off, yes, my dear.
No, continue.
And to top it all off, we're undergoing a bit of what you might call a succession crisis, as it were.
Easy,
Easy.
Don't flip the table with that bone, Freddy.
Freddy, we all know you love politics. It's okay.
Give him some intrigue, and he goes, oh.
You see, our dear Duchess Deandra passed away many years ago in childbirth, and her beloved husband, the Duke Daedalus, has regrettably succumbed to the weaknesses of the human condition, rather unfortunately. You understand?
And which would those be?
We'd hoped he passed away far before his proper. Too young. Far too young. Far too young.
Strangely too young.
Some would say.
Any sign of foul play?
Well, reports and autopsies are still being taken. You understand? It's too terrible to even consider that someone would do something awful to our beloved and distinguished Duke, but
Of course.
And I'm sorry to be so insensitive, but I'm not very familiar with the succession. What was the duke's name?
Daedalus de Arcadia. Named after the legendary hero Daedalus the Builder, who built our famous city for Miranda herself.
Many tales of his prowess.
Yes, all justly won. But as you see, in such dark times of the Republic, the passing of the Duke is more than a little unfortunate. The circumstances being what they are, there couldn't be a worse time, as it were.
It certainly seems that way with such uncertainty elsewhere.
I couldn't have put it better myself, Alcyone. Usually, the position of Duke is a hereditary one, and thus these complications are generally avoided. However, the Duke and Duchess, blessed as they were blessed by the Morning Lord with a beautiful pair of triplets.
Ah, which one came first?
Well, that's just it. No one is quite sure.
Curious.
Which one is most capable?
Well,
How old are they?
all the same age, all in their late 20s.
Got it.
All
The
just
same, you say?
Couldn't be.
I was waiting for 7.
all of them of distinguished character and capable of rule. But you do strike to the point of it, Seren. You see, we are having difficulty quite deciding which one should take over the mantle of Duke or Duchess.
Should not the people decide that?
Generally they do, but unfortunately the vote is inextricably split, as it were. Which is why I invite you to the capital. You see, I promised you a feast, and feast you we shall, bear no mind. It shall be an occasion. But you must understand it. If you've ever been to the capital before, you will. Arcadia is a land of heroes. Tales of great deeds of bravery, wit, and adventure are much lauded in the Republic. And the people, they are swayed. Commoners and senators alike are swayed by grand tales and deeds. It is my hope that you will come to the capital, meet the successors, see who you like, who you favor, and perhaps accomplish a task for them or two. Do deeds of valor in their name and gain them renown, which will undoubtedly sway the vote so a successor can be chosen and some normalcy can be returned to the city.
I must say, this is far from the worst direction your lack of forthrightness could have gone.
And I do apologize. I didn't want to dump the enormity of our situation on you just from the outset. But I hope you will accept my forgiveness and trust that we will do our very best to accommodate your comfort, and that there is much glory and riches to be won in performing tasks for the successors.
You leave the fate of the entire capital in the hands of 4 people who've never even lived there.
Well, you understand, which succeeds, at least in my humble opinion, is not entirely of consequence. All of them are able, but they will lead the Republic in very different directions, as I think you will understand when you meet them.
They're incapable of ruling together.
There must be one, unfortunately. There have been attempts to split the duties of the Duke or Duchess in the past, and all have ended in disaster.
Even among siblings who are not simultaneously born, rivalries easily come about, so I cannot imagine the state the 3 of them are in.
True enough.
I wouldn't know.
And so I tell you.
Thank you.
But if I may, let me tell you of them, so that at least you know their names will be approached.
Please.
Look at us all writing notes, you guys.
Oh,
New
shit.
year, new me.
I literally put the best one.
We'll
Look
see
at me
how
write
long
notes.
that
Fuck!
We'll see how
I
long
brought
the
the
rest of
book.
your chunks
No,
last.
you
I brought the book down and
Look, I
I've
have
been
a whole
listening
page.
rapturously.
3 of the Duke and Duchess's children, all vying for the top job, as it were. There is Casca, Bernard, and Alasia. I trust the Republic in any of their capable hands, but they will pull it in differing directions. all of them have an idea of what is best for the kingdom, and they are very different, but I think by chance it's best if I leave that for them to explain to you. But now that we've aired all of our misgivings, what do you say? Will you come to the capital? Speak for them, perhaps do a great deed in your honor, earn a few more songs for yourselves, and help put the Republic back to a safe and steady course.
I can hardly speak for my new friends, but I can hardly imagine a more delightful way to spend my time.
Oh, capital Alcyone, I knew from the moment I saw you that you were of a sort I liked. Excellent, excellent. What say the rest of you?
We've come this far?
Most grand! The sun shall be brought to our fair capital once again.
She does do that. I care nothing for songs of glory, but anywhere Surrie goes, I'm bound to follow.
Most capital indeed! And you, my fine feathered friend.
I do not understand what you are talking about.
He really doesn't.
Wherever strife is, I will go.
This is most excellent news. The entire Republic will owe you a deep and abiding debt of gratitude. Most thankful I am. I truly appreciate it. And Sir Hyrus, I assume you are still welcome in the capital, but I believe you had expressed an interest in returning home.
I must return to the village, and beyond that even, I'm afraid I am utterly useless to you in matters of court intrigue and succession. These are all grand ideas that do not, unfortunately, warrant one of my meager talents.
I do understand, certainly. It is not an intention to hold you hostage. I will send you away with my greatest regards.
My thanks to you, and do not be concerned. With Alcyone, you are in greater hands than you could possibly know.
Oh, I trust it to be only so true. I've seen her talents myself.
She is quite gifted, has excelled far beyond me in the arts of conversation.
Yes, and conversation will behoove you greatly, I believe, in the coming days.
That's a dragon
But
breath.
I think a night still of drink and merriment can be had before us before we part ways.
Oh, well, yes, but of course, where are my manners? I must repay you somehow for your great deeds to come. Sienna, please, another round of the dragon's breath, if you would.
If your concerns are quite allayed, I do not wish to leave any of them unaddressed.
Oh, how is it you mean?
Is there more that troubles you?
Well, there is much that plagues the kingdom, and I believe each of the successors will have their list of priorities of which should be sorted out first. But again, I'll leave that for them to decide and to explain to you when you finally meet them.
I suppose that is wise.
But enough of dark tidings for this eve. Please, I implore you, friends, drink, eat, enjoy yourselves. I do not want the enormity of the quest before you to detract from our good evening, huh?
I have thoughts of nothing but the evening before us, so Alcyone will down the rest of her dragon's breath.
Say it all at once.
Yep.
Oh, give me content, baby.
Yep. A save, I imagine.
All right, never mind. It's gone.
Resistance.
Opa, 11.
Uh-oh. So Alcyone downs the tankard of dragon's breath, slamming it to the table. And as you sort of recover from the sting, jets of smoke blow out of her nose. And you start to feel it pretty immediately. Uh-oh, the room is spinning.
Never had a problem with heat before, but
Oh,
that's something.
You're going to be
you're
alright.
doing all right.
The night is very young.
God, night for the ages it shall be.
Absolutely it is.
Right.
Why do groundwalkers like to drink this poison?
It clouds your mind. It's rather useful if there are things you'd rather forget for the nonce. My thoughts exactly.
If I may, it is a way of, as a community, experiencing a heightened state of emotion together. It often dulls the inhibitions, which for some is of course inadvisable, but for some can allow them to feel more free and able.
I do not understand this.
No, it makes very little sense. But we do it!
At which point, Sienna, your barmaid, brings over another tray, leaning on her shoulder with another round of the Dragon's Breath Ale, which she pops before you all.
Master Algiers, Hyros, Alcyone, Surrie, or Kashek if you're feeling free. I'm still working on my first one. You are welcome to this one.
I've still got plenty here.
I've actually become quite resistant to such things. So I will take this.
Wait, I'm immune to being poisoned. Does that mean I can't get drunk anymore?
Oh, and for flavor's sake,
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
the
Shay still gets
resistance,
drunk?
he opened his hand momentarily and a few grains of sand fell into your drink.
Gross.
I fucking love this guy.
Magic!
Yeah. Alcyone, being familiar with such small magics, did not blink an eye at it.
Fucking love this
Don't
guy.
put your fucking sand in my drink.
No, put your fucking sand in my drink.
Mr. Sandman.
Why do you all
Yeah.
detest your hibbits so much?
Just your what?
Hibbits. He said hibbits.
Oh, inhibitions.
To be fair, the word is longer than ones I usually use.
There are,
But you're so much wiser than you give yourself credit for, Hyros.
I think.
At least 12 many.
But it seems like so many more.
It does.
There are ways that one acts normally for reasons of not wanting to offend others or...
Yeah, social
Do you-
mores and such things.
Surrey's a much better person to explain this.
Oh, you know how some things are acceptable to the world at large, society and such, other things are not?
I've been told many times that I do some unacceptable things.
That's alright. With us, you're in good company, honestly.
Good.
Yep, perfect.
Some of us are just generally unacceptable, so...
Are you one of these?
Cause I think we all are.
I just kind of look at the other elves. I think that's a matter of perspective.
It's a damn shame we don't have cameras.
Oh my god. For those of us playing along, Freddy's making bird faces.
Birdly
It's
actions.
amazing.
If there's at any point that Algiers looks like he's musing over something into his beer.
Mm-hmm. Plenty.
Did you mention that there were raids from below ground?
Yes. Yes. Casca will be able to tell you more of it, of course, but the dwarves of Quadrantran are having some trouble. They've lost portions of their minds to, it would seem, to raiders.
Of what kind?
Drow, I would. Oh, my goodness. Not that, you understand me. I mean, yes, portions of them, of the mines have been lost and steps have been taken to retake them.
Oh, that sounds awful.
Yes, certainly is. Not that I think all drow are trying to take over mines all the time. It just happens to have happened in this instance.
Right, yes. Yes.
Good. That is what happened.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
You're not a drow, Seren.
Ah,
Couldn't tell you. I don't actually know if I would know that or not. I probably would.
In our travels, have I discovered that fact?
I don't know. You tell me. Were you actively seeking?
Yeah, I was looking for anybody who looks like me.
You wouldn't have found anyone else.
Yeah.
But I think you could have picked up that
Oh, okay.
your
Did you
people
actually
are-
ask her that?
Partially in jest. Then if I did know what that was,
Did you say it out loud?
No.
Oh.
Then I guess during that I just sort of... Right, yes. Well,
Can I get you another drink, my dear?
no, thank you. I'm quite happy with this one.
Yeah, but of course. Well, let the revelry continue then.
Indeed.
And a Festivus night. As many drinks as you are privy to are provided for you, all at the crown's out of the crown's pocket.
Is there any sort of platform or small stage in here?
There is, in fact, against the western wall. There seems to be sort of set up for a little like open mic nights, as it were.
Excellent.
Is it open mic
A
night?
little raised platform.
Dad, I hope you're not perhaps too in your cups to perhaps play a tune or so.
You know,
I'm gonna cry.
that strangely,
Also, so sorry.
it's one of the few skills I do not lose as the drinks go further.
Up at the front, there's a little puppet. There's like one of the French puppet shows going on, and it's like, I'm Stratvan Zarovich, and then it's like, I am Doric. Paw! And it's someone's dick.
Giant fucking swinging beat.
I think, yes, we should regale these good people with music. Let's go. And he stands up.
Yeah.
Amazing, Hyros.
Lifts very slightly to
Cyrus,
and
Cyrus.
larger than anybody else at the table. Manages just fine. And making a path. Outside, sort of follows him, putting hands on his back and guides him towards the stage. He pulling out his lute, and she deftly with a whistle, which is a flute of sorts, and also a small hand drum at her waist simultaneously.
Yeah.
They bring a jaunty, sort of a wedding song, sort of a merry marriage musicality. I just wanted to make it an M.
Performance check, please.
Oh, yeah, sure. For both, I assume.
2.
Yeah.
Pulling double duty.
I do have high roses. I think he's proficient because he's an entertainer. Absolutely, so that makes sense.
I have to use his dice. I can't use not his dice.
Gotta do it.
I do. Aha! For Hyros, spectacular.
Yeah.
22.
Fantastic.
And for Alcyone, a total of 10.
Okay, great. So as both of you get up there and approach, walk up on stage, the sound of the tavern dies down as everyone sort of turns their head towards you. And as you bring out your instruments and begin your jaunty tune, it is not long before the entire tavern, along with the beat, as you go.
He does get better as he drinks, apparently.
Yeah, Hyros taking the lead perhaps more than Alcyone. Alcyone perhaps just like reveling a little bit in her father's eccentricity in his cups. But yeah, I mean, you got the whole place going by the end of the song, and as you come to the climax and finish, the whole place erupts into raucous applause. The coins fly through the air, in fact, landing up on the stage.
Alcyone definitely whips out a pouch and tries to catch as many as she can. She is not unfamiliar with this.
Sure,
so-
absolutely. That is the custom in Arcadia, is just to chuckle.
Your father plays beautifully.
He does.
In fact, even little baby Dimitri pokes his head out at the sound of this song.
Yeah.
I suppose you wouldn't have heard this one before, would you?
And you managed to come up with 70 silver.
Oh, the bard. It has been so long.
Yeah, you're gonna be our sugar mama.
And many things besides.
It's my sister.
You're gonna be our sugar sister then.
Anything else for the night? Anyone?
Once it seems that Alcyone and Hyros have hit their stride,
The applause dies down and the general rabble returns.
I'm going somewhere a little
Right
quieter.
you are, Harry.
Somewhere where?
I'm just going somewhere a little quieter. Like maybe that
Outside?
Yep.
Yeah, so you step out. You step back outside the tavern. Night has fallen. It's much quieter outside. You still see the ostentatious carriage parked by the side of the road. The horses having been unhitched. The knight's still sort of just milling about, guarding.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do?
As you go, I'm just gonna catch you and say, "You all right?"
It's just loud. It's just loud. I'm just gonna decompress.
To get some a little quieter.
Mhm.
Great. Yeah, you find a cozy spot. It's maybe where they those like little overhangs where they store the feed for the horses. It's a nice bales of hay in there which you have a seat on.
Like, not quite a stall, but...
Right, yeah. Not
Yeah.
a stall, but yeah. You have a seat on a comfortable bale of hay and spend a little time just with the night, the sounds of the night, the chirping crickets and fireflies about.
Drow is what I am, by the way. I don't know if I had told. I had no way to know that actually, but
You're just talking to the baby.
yeah.
He sort of like turns his head around to look up at you.
Elves come in specific kinds. I have learned. That's all.
He nuzzles his head back into you.
Yeah, I don't. That's all she says.
They're going to assign to Harris and continue doing a few more songs, not like concert style, but just more ambiance.
Ambiance
At this
yeah.
point, if no one else objects or tries to intervene.
Nah, people seem super psyched to have a little revelry in music.
Excellent. It is possible, and she wouldn't remember probably every single place she's been through, but she has traveled pretty decently throughout the year, so it's possible she's passed through before, and maybe someone's like, "Oh yeah, at most." But
no,
like,
absolutely,
not
yeah, yeah. A couple of what looks to be maybe a couple of young mages out of the college make their way over.
Sure.
And say, yeah, well, we saw you here a few years ago. We're so excited to see you back again.
oh, thank you, very kind of you, very kind.
Yeah. And people are just super psyched. They're loving your jams.
Well, please, helps digestion, of course, as I know.
Yeah. They're laughing and merriment.
That's it, just that. That's it.
Fantastic. There you go.
Yes, classic.
Yeah.
People flicking their wrists in here? Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, she can do the double, like, you have to do kind of a, damn it.
Beatbox.
No, the black keys on the piano. Chromatic, it's not chromatic, but
Pentatonic?
pentatonic. Yeah, she can, like, when you're doing one hand, for this particular flute she has, you can only really do pentatonic, nothing more complicated than that. Allows her to also play the drum at the same time, so that's sort of what they're sticking with in this particular night that they're at it, so.
Anything else for the night? How drunk is everyone getting?
A little bit. Not crazy.
Yeah, a little bit
Just a
though.
little, just a
I
little
can't.
tipsy.
Fair.
9th level druid, I'm immune to poison.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
also
but I
immune to
feel
poison,
like
so
if dwarves can get drunk, you can get
They are
drunk.
resistant.
I'm immune to poison too, but he just ruled that I can get drunk.
I think you can still get drunk.
Kashek's not gonna drink it anyway. Literally call it poison.
Yeah, you're right.
It's
It's
fine.
fair.
That's fine. You don't have to get
You
drunk.
can turn it off for yourself.
Yeah.
I finished as much of the Dragon's Breath, the first one, that would be feasibly polite, and then just kind of like Irish goodbye. Or
Sure.
Veridine goodbye to everything.
At one point, while you guys are playing, Angiers, now deep in his cups, gets up on stage with you and tries to lead a song with you.
Spectacular. Alcyone will try and cover for him as much as she can.
Yeah, it's a simple round, but
Yeah.
he still manages to fumble it. But
That's
Alcyone, thank gods, is well versed
Yeah, there you
in
go.
dealing with drunk crowds. So.
Yeah. Hyros is actually, again, he is resistant to poison due to his infernal constitution feat, but he is drunk enough that he is in his cups, and like, he's with it for all the songs, but he's kind of like zoning out everything else. He's just really in the loot. That's just where he is right now.
Really feeling in his loot right
Yeah,
now.
he is not. He's not paying attention to anything else happening around him.
You are in the Gower Plains. So
There you go.
That was the
We're
time
all
for it.
really feeling it.
Fantastic.
Maybe-
I'm most indeed feeling it.
Maybe the real treasure was the really feeling it we made along the way.
You're so right.
The night passes in revelry. All of you have an excellent time, perhaps getting to bed a little later than you would have ordinarily preferred, but grand night had by all.
But a bed on land. Not moving.
Yes, so all of your rooms are, accommodations are all taken care of. It's very comfortable rooms. Those of you who want to stay in a room, I don't know if Kasek, if you probably just want to stay on the roof or something, but
A tree, if it's close
Yeah.
enough by.
yeah, definitely. There's a sparse forest surrounding all of this, so.
Trees are a luxury at this point for him, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I will come back inside at some point once it seems like the really raucous crowd kind of dies down.
That's around 2:33.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like sleep outside, but like I'm gonna wait till it's like almost closing time and then kind of like sneak back in.
2:33. I was like, what is it about 2:33 in the morning?
Yeah, at exactly 2:33.
Fantastic.
Do we have single rooms for us, or are they?
It's all each your own room.
Wow.
You live in the high life now,
You're
baby.
used to traveling on Royal Dime every
Yeah. Remember when we all slept in the same room in the Blue Water for 2 months?
Yeah. Now no one gets to see Hyro sleep with this shirt off.
No.
I walk into my room and it's very empty.
Tankard.
Sarah, do you want to have a sleepover in my room?
Yeah, it's really empty. It's really empty in here. It's really quiet.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's
come
really
come
weird.
over.
Okay. Is, do,
Cast
the
message.
The little one's coming. Is that
Yeah,
alright?
of course.
Excellent. You two have a super cute sleepover.
It's weird sleeping by yourself.
I know.
Iris removes his loot and then immediately face plants into the bed and just ugly snores for the whole night. Didn't take his clothes off, didn't take his shoes off.
No, not his
No,
shoes.
not his shoes.
Damn.
No, babe.
Meanwhile, in a different Alcyone, exact same thing.
Alcyone, slightly better. She does sprawl out there over the entire bed.
I'll invite Alcyone to have a sleepover too.
Girls' room.
You don't have to, but it would be fun, but you don't have to.
Do we want to take another quick break?
Yes, let's do that.
Please do. How are we all feeling? Are we good? I know at first session it's just a lot of
No,
rolling stuff out.
having
So
a great-
I appreciate y'all sticking with me.
She's 5'7".
You all awake in the morn. Some of you in your own rooms, some of you in a tree, some of you bunkmates. Even at an early hour. Again, it just must be a little shell shock after having spent so long in Barovia, but even at this early hour, there's a hustle and a bustle to the place as people move back and forth.
I wake up a little earlier than sunrise.
Okay.
Tell me about it.
And then I wake up the little one.
Yeah, snoozing dolefully. You can just hear his little breath go through his little nostrils as he sleeps. But yeah, as you give him a little tickle, he like.
You're going to want to see this. Okay. Come bring him over to the window. I'm going to watch the sun come up.
He is kind of wriggling around at first as you move over to the window, but as you just sort of hold him up, watch, and the sun comes up, he just suddenly grows very still and is mesmerized. And then, after a few minutes after it rises, he just turns his big head back up at you and raises his little hands to either side of your chin. Just go.
You're right. It's not how I expected that moment to go, but alright. And then I go back.
When has any of it ever gone the way?
No, you're right.
How did you expect it to go?
I thought he might be a human. To be entirely honest.
Sorry.
Like Shrek.
Yeah. No, that's not what I meant. You said something like a million years ago about him. He's like, I've never seen the sun come up over because of the mist.
Yeah, that's not unrelated to this, perhaps.
You're right. That's all I'm saying. Because I didn't expect him to be a little baby owl bear couplet when that happened.
Yes.
I was like, you want him to turn back into a human like Fionn?
No.
No, he's an owlbear now, baby.
Yeah. Give him a little scritchy.
I love you, baby. Look, I know it stings right now, but it's gonna work out great. I promise.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah, sure, fine.
I can see it. I can see it.
That's really where the difference lies between our DMing techniques. You're the don't worry, I know it's things now, but it'll get better later. I'm like, it feels great now, but I'm gonna kill you with it later.
That's why I hate Freddy.
That's so true.
Okay. Yes. You all awake to already a general hubbub downstairs. Perhaps coming out of your rooms, Algiers also emerges, already magnificently coiffed. Yeah. Well, how did everyone sleep? Accommodations all right, I trust.
Yeah.
Hyros is wearing his usual apparel and not the fancier clothing he's been wearing.
The trees here are lovely.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to take the shirt off before I went to bed, and so I sweat all the way through it.
Well, no matter, my boy. I'm sure there's a spare in the carriage you could partake of if you so wish.
Yes, fortuitous though, since I will no longer need to look quite as presentable on my way home.
Well, yeah, it can be comforting to dispose of propriety and all that. Very comfortable indeed.
Yes, it will stay in the closet, do not you worry. Whenever we go to a party again, I will wear it.
I think you look very presentable as you are.
Thank you.
Breakfast?
Alright.
Asani eventually walks down.
Does
Good
she
morning,
sleep
my
shirtless?
lady.
Did you check?
We slept in the same room.
You didn't.
She didn't come over. I invited her, but...
Didn't answer.
That's me.
Oh, I didn't get an answer. Oh, she's
Nope.
really bad.
She
She's
was-
already asleep.
Seen at 2:37.
She's like, I'll answer
What is
that in a
it?
second.
Hey!
Sorry.
The whole thing's typed out, but...
Yep. It's just... Cast message, it's sort of like the energy just continues for the entire night.
I felt something, but I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, weird. Getting static.
Well, I'm excited to report we are very close now, and while we are amongst civilization again, we should be at the capital within just a day or two.
We've had excellent travel so far, then look forward to speeding it up, as it were.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure you are very excited to get to the capital and regale in its splendor.
Not to be uncouth, you did allay our concerns regarding your concerns last evening, but we are not in any inherent danger by our presence there, I assume, yes?
Oh, goodness gracious, no, I wouldn't imagine so. As I mentioned before, Arcadia is a land that loves a hero. If anything, I should expect to hear a soldier's welcome when we arrive.
Heartening to say so. Glad to hear it.
Surrie, out of shot.
Straight up, not having a good time.
Whoa, I am.
Never should have given you anything.
Oh, well, but you did, and now I will hurt you with it.
We both titled the document Ammunition to Hurt Me With. Is that not true?
Time for a weapon!
The Walloper's coming.
Great.
It's like, we won't be in any danger, are we? Oh, goodness gracious, yes.
Piles of the stuff!
Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
So, unless there's anything,
Breakfast.
a brekkie,
That's it.
pile back in the carriage, and you're on your way.
Big hug.
Oh, yes, say goodbye to Hyros.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hyros is traveling no longer.
Yeah, Hyros is sort of hitching his pack on him. He's got the axe. He did not bring the spear with him. He's just got his axe on his back.
Didn't you leave the spear with the boys?
He did.
Yeah.
You did.
Oh, good.
So,
Yeah.
not a goodbye, but a see you later, perhaps, to Hyros.
He gives you a spine-cracking hug.
Ouch.
Not
I love it
knowingly,
so much.
enough that it not gonna hurt you, but enough that it
No, it still hurts, but I love it.
stretches you.
And then right before you like maybe go out the door, I just kind of tiptoes up and give you one little like on the cheek.
He leans down for it.
Aww. Dimitri reaching up to play with your beard as she does
look at
so.
you, little one. Take good care of her now.
See if travels gentle taint.
And to you,
Give him a second. He'll get there. He'll get there.
feathered friend.
An apt title.
Yes, indeed. And Alcyone, he sounds brusque for a moment, and she just looks at him stone-faced. And then she leaps up, arms around his neck, and he sort of like just picks her up and just spins for a little bit there, and he just puts her back down. And just like gives her a little, I guess she goes, be careful, little princess. And she blushes a bit, turns a deep golden rod for a moment, and then just sort of like pats his beard away.
Oh, now you have a Welgar in this campaign, too.
Yeah, except I can't talk to him all the time.
It's just Dad of the Year every time we play.
I'm just collecting dads is my thing,
That is.
apparently.
And I love enforcing them upon you. It's great. Foisting them upon you is what it
Hey,
is.
man.
Yeah, so with that, he hitches
In the market.
up his pack and axe, and as you are getting in the carriage, he'll make his way, I suppose, probably a barge to cross the river or something, or if there's a bridge.
Yeah, so
He just fucking swims in.
this whole
Here we go.
at
Goodbye,
this
everybody.
point in the kingdom, this is where the three sisters meet with the river Illness. So you can't walk 50 feet without finding a ferry or a barge or a
Yep.
boat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has ample opportunity to make his way upriver.
Right, and this, I'm imagining this is probably close to where he met up with at least one or two of you, so like he knows the way back to
Yeah.
Urban Glen from here at least.
Well traveled at
This
point,
isn't
yeah.
terribly far from Dork's Abbey.
Relatively no.
I thought we just got to, like, the Dwarven Fortress or whatever.
No. You're closer than that actually. Here, so you are currently at this sort of where the three sisters meet the Illness. So right around
so
here.
before the Mages College, but still around this.
Somewhere around
okay.
here.
Never
Dwarf's Abbey's over this way.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I imagine that we met up somewhere around like here.
Wyvern Glen is where it is.
Because I came kind of down from like the Tooth and came down through
So
Cardiff.
this
we could have
probably
met in
is
Barry-
where you all met.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Veradine or here in these little towns around here.
Yeah.
I booked it in like a straight line as far as I could.
Yeah, so this is definitely a juncture point where
probably the what's her Duchess or Countess or whatever her name is.
Oh God, yeah, so many months ago.
But
Lady
whatever.
Morwen.
Whatever
Lady
it was.
Morwen. There you go.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Damn her to hell.
She started this whole shit.
Never did get back to her on that. Hope she
She
enjoyed.
was like, I don't like
that
these
hate
people.
crime
Did you
I
do a
asked you
hate
to
crime
do?
The
for us?
Vistani left, so I'm sure she was pleased.
Yeah. Look, we did.
Oh,
what
but I
she
never had
asked.
to pay them. How droll.
No, that's where I'm going.
You're like,
So yeah,
Time
he
to pay
gets,
up.
goes and finds himself a nice barge to cross and begins his way home, waving them as he goes.
yeah.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Is Rhea home for a little while now, or is she still off doing her?
Currently, Hyros will be the only one home for a while.
You're gonna be home alone.
Oh.
Oh, he'll be fine. He's still, like, again, while he's home, he still does work for the town. And, yeah,
I hate you.
never mind.
I don't like that face.
And?
His mothers have both since passed. So.
Oh.
Oh, not like recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You had grandmothers.
Gay.
Yeah.
Nice car.
Perfect.
I've got a cock between them anyway.
Now we have both gay and babby.
I'm the baby. I'm so glad you brought him. Anyway,
Was I gonna leave him there?
I don't know.
No.
Oh no.
And he walks his mini away.
He walks his mini away.
Bye, Hyros.
There he goes.
There he goes.
Turning and waving.
The beautiful bastard.
There he is.
Fine.
That daddy of a dad.
The daddest of dads.
Yeah.
All right, so a tearful good, not a goodbye. See you later to Hyros.
Yeah.
You all pile back in the cabin and again set out. So indeed, much as the Chancellor predicted, the rest of your journey is incredibly smooth. You are now in the heart of the Gower Plains. As you look out the windows to each side, farmland stretches to an impossible distance away unto the horizon, to the south of you as you travel along the road. Oh.
Showing him what's up. As we're going
Mm-hmm.
to Mr. Algiers,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my dear.
if you had your choice of the three,
Yes, of course, the successors. Well, that is an excellent question.
I'll sign you here for this.
Truly, were it up to me, I wish that you could just sort of push them all into one ruler. Each of them is excellent in the arena that interests them most. And as I said before, they will pull the country in very opposite directions. The conflagration of all of them, I think, would be the ideal ruler, one to rival Miranda of Arcadia herself. But alas, I don't think I could choose between them.
What indeed, in that case, what are their pursuits individually?
you do the talking thing.
Yes, well, I suppose I could give you a purview. Casca believes that a strong militaristic hand is what is needed in the kingdom now. What with the unrest throughout the lands and the opening up of a possible corridor of attack to the north, she is determined to reinvigorate the Arcadian army, as it were. It has always relied on the power of its navy to be the strong arm of the Republic, and well, it has served in our history.
But difficult to manage against an overland.
Correct. So she hopes to reinvigorate the army, as it were. Alasia is progressive in many senses. She believes the focus should be on the peasantry, and that a kingdom is only as strong as the backbone of its peoples.
Can't argue much with that.
Nor could I. However, a mind must also be paid to the merchants, which are the cogs that make our brilliant republic turn.
This guy sounds like a capitalist.
What gave it away?
He's a chancellor.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He's got pointy hair.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
You heard him.
And Bernard, a curious fellow, a student of the arcane and of history. He believes that the key to the success of our future might just be found in our past.
A wise fellow he sounds.
Yeah, I'm sure he would talk your ear off at the slightest provocation.
So, for Freddy's sake, Alasia is progressive but also capitalist.
No. Alasia is like the backbone of the nation is the strength of its people. Basically, is the idea.
Where did the merchants come in?
That's
was
his
me.
opinion.
That was
Yeah, that's
okay,
Angier's
okay,
opinion.
okay.
Yeah. So like basically it's like military, like
calling her uncle this whole time.
Arcane
Base of
power,
the people,
history, yeah.
greater knowledge and enlightenment is basically what we're working with.
I sure picked the campaign to have a fucking hermit get involved in all of this.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But yeah, those are the vibes
Reading
of the three
tomorrow.
successors. Yeah. And they, I'm certain, will be happy to expostulate more on their personal philosophies once we get to the capital.
I have no doubt.
But indeed, you will meet them all in time, I trust.
I do look forward to it. If we're to be of any assistance, well,
It's rather a daunting task, but
Under what sort of protection are these three?
Well, of course, they're all kept under the guard of the ducal guard, naturally. But then also, each of them have their own personal retainers, which see to their own enlightenment and protection.
And the Duke was under much the same, I assume?
Yes, unfortunately, it did not help to extend his livelihood.
indeed.
Now, I will be made sure that, again, not to tread too fine a line here, but the successes that you choose to take missions from will reflect greatly on their character. You may choose to endeavor to complete tasks for all of them, for anything they assign to you will greatly benefit the Republic as a whole, but who you choose to devote your energies and attentions to first will mean something, shall we say.
Nobility is quick and keen to take meaning from any and all decisions by those around them.
Too right you are, Alcyone, sometimes to a fault.
Well, such burdens upon them. It's understandable.
Indeed. In fact, any sort of, I believe we are making such excellent time. We should arrive with little time to spare before the feast. Should you wish to take the time to familiarize yourselves with the city, or to, and in fact I would encourage, to meet the successors before the feast, source them out, see who you like or agree with philosophically, and decide perchance who you should choose to back.
Sure.
That'd be most in order, I think.
What character person was the Duke?
He was a distinguished leader. Most of his administration was focused on expanding Arcadia itself and the surrounding city that's cropped up along the boundaries of Starfall Bay. Taking after his namesake, Daedalus the Builder, he mostly funnels his attentions to new construction projects.
No, I meant what sort of person was he?
Oh, of distinguished character indeed.
He did say.
Well, yeah. Can I make an insight check?
Sure. What are you trying to decipher?
If he wished him any ill at all.
Okay, great, yeah.
17?
No. He's certainly speaking politically, but you don't get a sense that...
I secretly did it the whole time.
Correct, yeah. None of that. But he's definitely speaking, it would be uncouth of him to say anything but to heap praise upon the
But he
Duke.
also believes it?
Yeah,
okay.
You get the sense that, he was a duke like any other,
Okay.
basically. His intentions were put in a particular place, he did a good job, but no, he doesn't harbor any resentment towards him.
Okay.
And would, out of curiosity, any particular one of the scions, the potential rulers, mark a very sharp change from the former duke's rule?
Well, certainly. All of them will make a priority of a different matter of concern to the Republic, as I have previously exposited. The military, or the peasantry, or the higher arts, as it were.
Indeed. So there is no one, I suppose my questioning comes from there is none whose endeavor is to maintain the status quo, to maintain a sort of homeostasis, as it were.
Well, you see, the interesting thing about the way the Arcadian system works is that there never really is a status quo. The Duke is the one who sets the agenda and tasks for the government during their reign, and the Senate, of course, is the one that makes it. And so you may have one duke who is particularly concerned with infrastructure, as Daedalus was. Perhaps the next is concerned with the mercantile endeavors of the Republic, etc., etc. Most ducal reigns are concerned with one or more specific aspects of the Republic's success.
I suppose that does align with the Arcadian ideal of great deeds and heroism being so wildly purported.
Very insightful, Alcyone. I believe it is a part of the culture that each duke means to make their mark upon a certain subsection of the Arcadian success.
One cannot fault them for that, at the very least.
Not indeed. And of course, whatever matters are not prioritized by the Duke, the Senate does their best to keep them afloat.
Thank you.
You're
For your
welcome, my
elucidation.
dear. I am happy to exposit any knowledge I do hold on the comings and goings of the Republic.
It will greatly help us consider, moving forward, who we hope to endorse, as it were.
And to be perfectly blunt with you all,
Please.
we just need a duke or a duchess. Truly. Just to stabilize matters. As I've said previously, I believe any of them could be admirable and excellent rulers of the Republic. We just need one decided.
What happens to the other two?
Well, they are still royalty after all. I'm sure that they shall stay on as some sort of advisory council or some such other, but ultimately the one that you choose will have final say over the direction the kingdom moves.
And we simply choose?
Well, what I mean to say is the candidate you favour will have advantage when it comes to choosing the next duke, you understand?
So who does the choosing?
Well, that is a vote amongst the Senate.
The Senate, not the people.
Well, the Senate is elected to represent the wishes of the people.
But they may represent their own wishes should they desire.
Well, I mean, do you understand there is a certain amount of understanding one must have of state affairs? You can't account for any, rabble in the Gower Plains to know what is best for the Republic. So yes, we streamline the process by electing ones who have knowledge of these matters and of the governance of state.
Perfectly
Of
reasonable,
course.
Seren. Perfectly reasonable.
In other words, I am the Senate.
Well, I don't know what that means
Gotta
at
get
all,
in there
but
somewhere.
who's pulling the strings in the Senate then?
Oh, God, perhaps in the Eurovian courts, but no, the Senate is a democratic body of like-minded individuals who work together for the benefit of the Republic.
So there's no... I'm just envisioning a future where there's some sort of leader of, the majority who keeps
Well, I
blocking things.
suppose, to come down to matters, that would be me, as Chancellor.
It is good that we get to know you so well.
Ah, yes. As I said, it would not be impropriety to send anyone lesser to fetch great heroes such as yourself.
So what should happen if all three of them were to fall to the same fate?
Oh, good heavens. I can't imagine such a dark future. Well, we'd be cast into chaos, I suppose.
They
We have to find a new ducal line. The line of Miranda de Arcadia's line has not been broken for 6 centuries. I can't imagine the repercussions of the royal family all finding the same demise.
Make another insight check.
Why?
Just trying to figure out if we have like a pal friend Patine on our hands or something. 22.
So he's very good at this. He knows how to talk politically, but you don't get a sense of any malcontent.
Okay.
Like, the thought of all 3 of them suddenly dying seems genuinely concerning to him.
Okay.
They have no children yet of their own?
And no, free-spirited thinkers they all are. And, of course, none had counted upon having to take a rulership so soon, you understand?
No, indeed. He said how old they were before, right?
Wait,
They're all in their late 20s, yeah.
Right.
they're still grieving then?
I'm sorry?
They're still grieving the loss of their father?
Grieving, oh.
Yeah, yes. He died maybe a year ago. Maybe a little less. Yes, of course, as befits a ruler, their minds immediately turn to the affairs and needs of the state.
One last thing for me, at least. The succession, would it follow descendants before siblings? If whoever's to be chosen does eventually have children, would their child supersede the other two triplets before?
It is a complicated matter. It depends upon the age of the offspring, as it were. If they are not of an age to govern, it would pass to a sibling, but provided they are come of age, they would assume the rule of duke or duchess.
All important things to know. I cannot say in my recent times through I've spent much time getting to learn the intricacies of the court, so that should be
But of course, the governance of the Republic is an intricate and complicated animal. I would not expect you to know its ins and outs, and nor do I need you to.
Well, that's for certain minds to have knowledge of.
You understand, it takes a certain amount of understanding to break into the political realm.
Naturally. I'm gonna go outside on top of the carriage for a little while.
Oh, goodbye.
After the conversation, I'm just gonna sort of
Sure, yeah.
just to get a look
it
at their
peters
surrounding
off.
places. Yeah.
Yeah, you do so. You climb up there.
Are we Are we following? Is the road
It's a very well-established road now.
and along the river, roughly speaking?
Yes, you are sort of tracing the outline of the banks of the River Ildis, following it towards the capital.
Grand. At this point, have we already passed the Mage's College, or are we coming through like the?
We'll say that this conversation has taken place after you left the inn. So
Great.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, as rounding up on it, you can see it in the distance. It's right where, so the three sisters sort of join into one river, and then that river joins into the Ildis. So right at the integration of the three sisters and the Ildis sits the Mage's College. Gothic and sort of almost archaic in its architecture. It is an ancient structure. I would imagine you would know a bit about its history, being a traveling bard. It was originally founded by Eurovian runaways.
Right.
As the barbaric Eurovian structure doesn't allow for any practitioner of magic except for sorcerers. So a couple of a elven wizard fled the country and actually fell in love with a young human peasant girl of the Gower Plains, and she convinced him to share his knowledge with the world. And so the Arcadian Wizards College was founded.
And I would know that Adresta studied there for a time,
Yeah.
developing some capabilities.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll save that. Never mind. Yeah, great, cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, keep just looking around, just sort of. Yeah, it's been a while since she's journeyed this particular path, so taking some sights.
You pass by it, and then within the next 24 hours, you arrive in Portside, which is there's the city proper, which is the one built around the foundations of the Tower of the Stars, the ancient elven ruin, in which all of the foundations of the early city were built around. And then over time, more structures sprang up around the shore of the bay, across from the city. And so there is the Grand Illisport, which is sort of where the main trade hub of the city comes in and out. Portside is the residential area directly aside from it. There is Driftwood, which is more residential area. Everything on the bay side, as they call it, is sort of more majorly residential. Driftwood is sort of where the lower middle class lives, and then Buzzards Bay is sort of where the spillover has put together their shanty towns made of driftwood and collections from that drift out from the sea.
Could you maybe say that one more time? Buzzards Bay?
Buzzards Bay is where the poor people live.
It's in the thing we were given.
Sure, yeah.
No, but like going forward for reference.
Portside is directly adjacent to Illisport, which is where the main shipping hub, where all the mercantile do's and dads happen. And so Portside is many of the probably like lower tier merchants, but still merchant class live.
McMansions.
Yeah, McMansions,
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah. Driftwood is where sort of the lower tier artisans live. Many of the artisans proper live in Terrytown, upper and lower, which is in the city proper. Artisans are highly prized in Arcadia, not so much as merchants or heroes, but there are many guilds which operate of all kinds, alchemists, smiths, etc., etc., etc.
The unions.
Correct.
Got them.
Yep. But yeah, you make your way through Driftwood. You spend maybe another night at an inn on the road, but early in the morning you make your way to Driftwood, and Algiers addresses you all. excellent time. Here we shall catch a ferry across to the city proper. Are you all prepared? I know it may be loath to part with it, but it's time to bid farewell to our wonderful carriage.
A shame.
I think I've left an imprint on this particular couch. I'll miss you.
How far away from like the actual ocean are we? Like from the water?
As you're entering the edges of Driftwood, you're very close. You can hear the roll of the waves.
We're all kind of piling out of the carriage?
Yeah.
Is there like a ferry like, haha, we should go. Calais awaits.
Sure, yeah, we'll talk. Yeah, you ramble your way through Driftwood, and it sort of the rolling of the waves grows louder and louder, and soon you come to you can see the ocean before you, and there's all along the shore, there's docks and boats and ferries and barges, etc., of all kinds, prepared to come and go. Oh, and in fact, Angiers pipes up, better to do this earlier rather than later, and he reaches into a pack on his side and pulls out several what look like necklaces with sort of iron drabs dangling from them in the shape of an oar. This will secure you passage on any of the ferries or gondolas as we approach the city. I don't want you having to pay a penance every time you need to go somewhere in the city. And he hands them all out to you.
Put it in your staff. That's awesome.
I grab an iron.
Grab mine around the wrist.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, already?
Not fine enough to be a necklace.
Yes.
Very well. I have arranged for the top-of-the-line ferryman to bring us to the city. Now follow me. So Driftwood is like, there's nothing over one story. It's like incredibly nautical. I mean, all the houses have this sort of like salt-drenched look to them, and as you approach the ship, there's so many boats coming in and out of the place. And
seashells glued on all the doorknobs.
And he leads you to this barge that just looks like an enormous floating raft with one little like sort of like driver's tower coming up out of it. And also noticeably there are what looks like 3 horses tied around some sort of winch or windmill-like system in the center of the barge.
Interesting.
And as you approach, you see a squat little dwarf make his way out of the tower.
He is in Barovia.
Well, let me introduce you to Garmin, one of the finest ferrymen Arcadia has to offer.
But he's excellent at giving directions.
He is. Oh, it's nice to meet you. Hop aboard, I'll get you to the city right and proper. I know these canals and waters like the back of me hand. Oh, that's new.
Charmed to meet you.
A pleasure, I'm sure. Well, climb aboard, we can even load the carriage on, and we shall be in the city in no time proper. So, lowered aboard, Garmin sort of trottles over to the horses tied to this mechanism, gives one a little pat on the bum, and they begin to move. But they don't go anywhere, they're sort of on this like treadmill apparatus. And as they begin to walk, enormous propellers on the back of the barge begin to spin. And the barge takes off into Starfall Bay.
Excellent.
And you set out. You can see in the distance the shining city, Arcadia.
It's the horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
You approach the city. The first thing that dominates your view is the Tower of the Stars, which juts inexorably up towards the sky. It looks, kind of picture Saruman's tower from Lord of the Rings, an incredibly thin spire topped with sort of like spikes or pegs at the top. But the stone it is made of almost has this ethereal, celestial quality to it. Looking into it, it's almost as if one were looking at the night sky above. Spreading out from the Tower of the Stars is the city of Arcadia. Built upon foundations drilled into the bottom of the bay, it is just a sort of collection of, almost a collection of many islands, covered almost wall to wall in austere marble. Canals run through it, being the main causeways for travel of the city. And as you grow closer and closer and begin to pass into the main channel, you're sort of leaving from here. You move around the armory where tall warships, their masts also jutting up into the sky, lie side by side. You move around Lower and Upper Terry, where you see lower rung buildings, but you can hear from there even the hustle and bustle of the artisans and denizens of the city. Moving around the north side, you come to the Seed Gate entrance of the Grand Canal, which you enter, moving down. To either side of you, the buildings rise like forests as you make your way through the canal.
It never fails to impress, does it?
Have we been here before?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, okay.
We spent time here.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
This is where we got those weird lower back tattoos.
They make the best dacres here, according to Adrastus.
yeah.
Ugh.
I lived here. I just didn't see much of it.
They actually spelled it wrong. It says Babby Slut.
You follow the Grand Canal down until you begin to see looming over you both the Senate chambers and the Ducal Palace, rising higher than any of the surrounding buildings. Sort of gothic and austere in their presentation, covered completely in white slab marble. They are decadent buildings, monuments of the enormous wealth of the Arcadia of the Republic of Arcadia.
I suppose impressive is a word for it.
Don't care for it.
You saw where we came from. Those people are living in shacks.
They also were, unless I'm mistaken, under the heel of a tyrannical vampire lord who was sealing them into their location.
Oh, I just meant, Buzzards Bay.
Oh, well.
Well, you understand, my dear. Arcadia supplies a station of living that I don't believe any other nation in the wide world can compete against.
To everyone.
Well, you understand, my dear, that it is just the foundations and the comings and goings of statehood that some would inevitably fall through the cracks. But I assure you that even those poor souls in Buzzards Bay are afforded a standard of living that cannot be rivaled by anywhere else in the nation, even for the peasantry.
Doubt. She doesn't say anything. She's just like,
Haven't you slept outside?
That's what I'm saying. Shit.
The plight of the people is Seren's concern.
Yeah.
Didn't you live in a monastery?
The blood of the proletariat runs through my veins!
Where everybody was exactly the same.
She's mad that
Right.
there's so much wealth here. And
She
it,
comes from
I
a communist
understand
state.
that, but what was the state of living in the monastery?
terrible.
Okay. Continue.
That's all I'm saying. Is she's like confused by how you can let one person sleep in the mud. And another
It breaks
person
my
get out.
heart, Mistress Seren, and your empathy is well placed, but it is a fact of nature that there must always be haves and have-nots.
Is it?
But of course, it is the crux and the weakness of civilization.
isn't it just?
Many have said as much.
Haven't they?
They have indeed.
Your barge continues.
Looking around, it's nice.
She's
It
just like,
comes to a halt in front of sort of this main sort of central island here on which the Tower of the Stars is placed. And you sort of unboard off of the barge. All around you, marvels of architecture take place. Fountains, causeways, grand sort of like courtyards, all nestled between the Ducal Palace and the Chamber of the Senates, the two sort of pillars of the Arcadian Republic. Well, now, my friends, finally, after our long journey, we have made it. And in good time. And by my estimation, the feast will take place tomorrow eve. And it's still relatively early morning by the time you get here. You are free to do as you wish in the intervening time. Perhaps familiarize yourself with the city, or I may encourage you to pay a visit to our noble successors. They are all expecting your visit.
And they'll be found in the palace, I assume?
Yes, all of their chambers may be found in the Ducal Palace. If you should perchance need my services again, you may find me in my office in the Senate chambers.
You've been excellent kind to us, Chancellor Angiers.
You are most kind.
Where would you recommend we find ourselves lodging while we are here so far?
Oh, goodness gracious me. Of course, I've forgotten. Your accommodations have been made for you at the Ducal Palace.
Oh.
That is high station indeed.
Wow.
Oh, yes, only the finest. But of course, you may familiarize with your city, and if, perchance, any other lodgings come more to your taste, we shall not be offended if you choose to stay there. I'm sure, good Hector, he would be more than happy to show you around the city. And Hector, up on his horse, sort of looks down. Lord Angiers, it's just... only I've just been made captain, and there's much I need to see to. Thank you, Hector! He'll be more than happy to show you about the city. As I said, I do deeply encourage you to pay a visit to the successors, as they are expecting you, but otherwise, the time is yours to explore the city and all its wonders as you see fit.
I say we might as well locate where we're staying in the... Jesus Christ. Might as well make our way to the palace to at least drop our things.
An excellent idea. Yes, well indeed. Again, if you are of need of me, please do pay a visit to the Senate chambers. Do not be nervous at the import of businesses of state. I can always spare time for friends.
And thank you, Chancellor.
Many
It
thanks.
is my most esteemed pleasure. Yes, Hector, see to their needs. My friends, it has been the utmost pleasure journeying with you, and I do hope to see you again soon.
And you?
With that, he bows deeply and turns and begins to waddle off towards the Senate chambers.
Shall we?
Captain Hector, if you would.
Yes, my lady.
I'm sure we can find your way if you have things to attend to.
We'll tell Mr. Angiers that you were most helpful, should it come to.
As you have been so far.
That's a great kindness, my friends. I thank you. If you do perchance need of me, though, you can find me also at the Ducal Palace. I'll be in the captain's quarters.
Congratulations on your recent promotion.
Well, we'll see. Time only will tell if I'm up for it, but I hope to do my best.
I'm sure you are.
Then for the nonce, shall we at least make our way there together?
Oh, it would be my finest honor to escort you there. We haven't had much time to talk, regrettably. The Lord Chancellor does tend to monopolize conversation.
Yes.
It does seem to be part of the job description for him.
Indeed. Well then, shall we make our way?
Alright.
Follow me.
Mr. Hector,
Well, yes, Lady Seren.
should you have a choice in which one of the three?
Oh. He told you then, did he? I do regret my part in the misdirection of bringing you all here. But were I to select, I favor Casca. She's a strong sensibility, and I think her initiative to strengthen the borders of the kingdom would serve us well in this time of uncertainty. I hope I don't speak out of turn.
Absolutely not.
Asked.
Far from an unreasonable line of thought.
Indeed. Well then, follow me if you will.
Let's do.
Absolutely.
And you do so, making your way to the Ducal Palace, which is, as you approach it, sort of this horseshoe-shaped structure with a tower rising out of sort of the crux of it. How do we feel? Do we want to call it there? Do we want to keep going? What do we feel like?
I feel my mind beginning to wander a bit.
A little bit.
Let's call it then.
So, yeah.
Let's call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
A good place
Yeah,
to
it's a
start
good
next
place.
time. You know?
Thank you, my friends.
Excellent.
Thanks,
you.
buddy. That was
Yeah.
spectacular.
It'll pick up. It's just, you know.
That's great already.
Everything
We
is
don't need to
necessary.
hit 3 combats in the first fucking episode.